My eyes find my reflection in the mirror and a tear droplet leaves the waterline of my left eye. Pale skin, messy hairs, puffy and numb eyes stare back at me assiduously. My clothes have lost the charm, my hair looks like a mess while my face is astray of any colors. I am horrified by my own reflection and so, turn my gaze away from the mirror and jump back on my bed to cry my eyes out, again. Crying. That's all I have been doing for this past week after that night. After he dropped me home and disappeared as he never lived across the hall. After he made me feel like the paramount of his existence before tossing me away like some schmat. For once in my life I hoped that maybe he finally opened his heart out for me a little. It wouldn't have mattered even if it was just a tiny hole, I would have been more than happy. But oh, how wrong was I? How did I forget that he cannot open a door to something which doesn't even exist? No one can. How dumb was it to even imagine that he still has a heart, hidden behind the innumerous barriers he has created around it, to keep it safe? What invaded my senses to think that I can heal something which has reached extinction a long time back? Maybe I did require this treatment to have realized that what I was searching inside of him wasn't there anymore. He does not possess a heart in that body of his. My stupid brain wasn't able to interpret it initially, but now, it has learnt its lesson very well. And let's just not talk about my heart. Because that thing has already been shattered into millions of pieces which have scattered in places far from my own reach, making it impossible to fix them again. I bury my face further in the pillow and cry my eyes out, just like every other day for the past 1 week. The only thing that doesn't seem to stop is the intense scrutinizing pain and these wretched tears. With each passing day, the bereavement intensifies and pierces through my soul. These tears keep reminding me of the night. How it started and how it ended, minute by minute, second by second. He said I was his, then how can he just leave me be after the intimate moment we shared together? I have never let anyone touch me the way he has done every time he got the chance because he was the only man I dreamt of ever since I developed hormones. I gave him my all, body and soul, then why did he go away? Though I won't blame him because after all I was the fool running behind him all my life. I was the one who waited and hoped for a chance with him after I heard he got divorced 5 years ago. I was one who rejected all the offers I got just because my stupid heart fluttered at his thoughts. I was the one who let that silly innocent crush to intensify so much that it ended up being my demise. And even after all this, I called him. I called him numerous times and he didn't pick up before I finally lost hope and stopped. I sob loudly and cry till I forget everything and pass out for some time. Sleep overtakes me as the pain is not bearable anymore and I am engulfed by a heaven where it's only me, away from the world, away from everyone. I drink my black coffee and do some yoga to keep myself calm and collected. Right now, anchoring myself is very important if I don't want to scatter in pieces. After being done with meditation and yoga, I get up and relax before making my way towards the bathroom. I take a quick shower and come out wearing a bathrobe. Picking up the hair dryer, I start drying my wet hair. I am not feeling it in me to do anything on my skin, so I simply apply some moisturizer and start getting ready. Since I have nowhere to go, I simply settle down for a simple white oversized t-shirt and some black shorts. In order to keep myself sane, I pick up my phone and connect a call with Rack. The only person who can lift my mood right now. I have told her most things which happened at the housewarming night but didn't go into much details or she would have gone around on a killer spree and would have murdered Akaksh before I could even blink my eyes. I told her the tidbits and gave an excuse that he went away for some time because some important work came along and she bought it. She picks up FaceTime almost immediately and beams at me. I pass her a sad smile and her smile falls too. You know, I seriously hate seeing you like this. I beg you to pull your shits together and get back to how you were. Her voice echoes from the other side and I try my best to act as normal as I can. I think of a good reason for a minute before replying, I miss him. It's just that. Nothing else. 2 things. First, I don't think he deserves you because he clearly left you when you need him for comfort. That too after spending such a special night. Second, I have a feeling that you are lying to me about something. So, if my instinct is correct and you are actually lying to me, I'll stab you first and then go after whoever did wrong to you. There is nothing like that. Relax, Rack. I try my level best to put the most genuine smile I can, but I know I failed miserably and she saw right through me. Rack is the closest person to me with whom I can share anything, but I don't know why I can't tell her everything that happened that night. If you can't smile, stop faking it, or else it won't take me even an hour to reach there. I am not faking anything. It's just that I miss him a lot. Shut up, bitch. You clearly are faking a lot, so cut the crap. You called me Rack instead of baby or bae, and you expect me to believe you aren't faking anything? Uff. I am sorry, baby. You should be. Now, let's find some solution to your "I am missing him" problem. There is no solution for it. Actually, there is. What? Why don't you start the internship you were offered last month? I mean, that will keep you distracted and hence you will miss him less, plus, it will also help you learn something. I agree with you, but you know I have already signed a deal with Adam Berg for the movie and I'll have to focus on that too after a week or two. How am I going to manage both my internship and that work? Bro, you will be more busy and hence you won't think of him every now and then. Think like that. Don't you have some other ideas? Go to hell and rot there. She gives me a stink eye and picks up a glass before drinking the orange juice from it. I chuckle lightly at her remark and start thinking about it. She ain't wrong though, the more the work, the busier I will be and hence won't think about him much. And I have been meaning to start the internship anyways, cause apparently it's an opportunity to work in the biggest writing firm in the States. You know what, I will take the internship. See, I told ya. You should literally lick my feet for suggesting to you all these good ideas. She flips her hair and proudly says, you should lick my feet that I even chose to be friends with you. I really should just die at this point because no one in this world cares for me. Everyone loves to get on my nerves always and irritate the shit out of me. Whoa. Calm down, girl. What is this about now? Don't even get me started. Remember the owner of our law firm? That bitch called me in his office on Monday and you won't believe what happened. After that she gave me an entire gossip about how that guy was a jerk to her and, in her words, a handsome motherfucking jerk. I eagerly hear everything she has to say and when she finishes I am looking at her with a smirk. You guys literally have so much chemistry. Trust me, I'll ruin his physics and biology too if I see him in a 10-meter radius with myself. LMAO. I am seriously so done with these XY chromosomes at this point that I can't even explain to you. As baby us. Why do they even exist, again? Because there are needs only they can fulfill, whatever. Listen, we'll call you later. An XY chromosome is calling me and if I don't answer him, my needs won't be fulfilled. Bye, love. With that she hurriedly cut the call and I almost laughed. That's what I love about her, I can be feeling depressed and she will just talk to me and get me out of it without any effort. She is my person after all. I look outside the floor-to-ceiling windows and see that it's past noon. I don't feel like doing anything, so I simply lie down on the bed and sleep takes over me in no time. When you are not happy from inside, laziness crawls up in your veins. I am in a deep slumber when I hear something fall and break down. My eyes open instantly as I sit straight and look around myself. There is no one. I take a deep breath in and my mind suddenly starts thinking of the worst probabilities. The sound was loud and clear, but I see no one around myself, but that doesn't mean there can be no one. No. There is no one. Don't think bullshit, Amelia. It's not some horror or psychotic movie where someone breaks down in someone's house and attacks them. It's real life. I am just hallucinating. Nothing else. Or at least that's what I want myself to believe. With trembling limbs, I get up from the bed and pick up a pepper spray from the drawer. Suddenly, I hear the sound of someone's steps near the door and goosebumps crawl all over my skin. It's impossible to miss the sound of those footsteps in this silence, and at the same time it's terrifying too, because the possibility of an intruder at this time is nothing less than a danger, that too when I am all alone in the house. I pick up my phone and decide to call someone. My brother perhaps. Yes, he is gonna help me. I immediately dial his number as I feel the footsteps crawling further close to me. All the wrong thoughts immediately cloud my vision and I can already feel my skin sensitizing. My fingers shake as I try to type my brother's number on the call dial, but I just cannot bring myself to type it correctly, and when I finally find his name and am about to click on it, a strong force wrests my phone out of my hand with a jerk, forcing my entire body on the bed. I gasp loudly at the sight in front of me. A tall, muscular man is looking down at me with a crooked smile. His eyes are dark, cold and lifeless, just like his entire presence. He brings my phone in front of his face and takes a look at it before staring back at me with the same twisted smile. His face looks scarier in the dark when the light from my phone screen falls on it, making chills run down my spine. I am already fisting the bedsheet tightly and holding the pepper spray in my hand with all my might. My mind is clouded by fear and my senses are overtaken by the possibility of every wrong that can happen to me at this time. His eyes stare down at me with so much cruelty and sadism in them. My body trembles as his dirty gaze sweeps all over me, from my head to my toe. I have almost zero chance at escaping from here. I can clearly see why he has been fancying you, he finally lets his dark and deep voice echo in the room. My heart stops for a moment before pumping again after I hear that voice laced with nothing but evil. What are you doing here and who are you? My voice quivers in fear. A dirty chuckle escapes his lips and he shakes his head once as he bores holes right through me. You should be more concerned about the things I am going to do with you instead of who I am. How did you enter my place? I slowly get up from my position and slide backwards, trying to escape him and buy some time to do so by distracting him. I have submitted myself to my fight or flight hormones and everything that I am doing is controlled by them. He glides his thumb over the screen of my finger in a way that feels like he is trying to control himself from doing something. You are pretty. It's going to be so much fun with you. His voice is filled with lust and venom as if he is hungry for a prey and he has finally set his eyes on it. I slide a little more and finally get down from the bed, now standing in front of him on the opposite side of the bed. You are mad. Leave my place right now or else I will shout and call for help. I give out empty threats which even I know are not going to save me. I would love to see you scream, but do it when you are under me. Just like a good little slut. It will be a pity to kill you after using you limitlessly because you would have made a perfect sex doll for me. He vomits those filthy words and tears immediately spring in my eyes at the thought of that possibility becoming true. I bite my lips harshly, trying to control myself from sobbing. You are out of your mind. You will never have me, I shout and run for my life immediately. The door to my room is already open, so I sprint out, but before I can even cross it, his hands come to my side and hold me by my waist, picking me up from the floor harshly and then throwing my entire body back on the ground. A small whimper leaves my lips when my elbow meets the hard surface of the floor, but I don't react and try to get up. He kicks me in my stomach and this time, I shout and hold my abdomen. He does not stop and get down on the ground to hold me by my hair and bring his face closer to mine. You don't run when I am here or else it won't take me a second to break your goddamn legs and fuck you, he grits out angrily from slamming my head against the nearest wall. I scream loudly and hold my head as the pain strikes. But currently the physical pain does not hurt me as much as the fear of his next move has frightened my soul. He draws closer to me and holds my hands together with his one hand before moving his other filthy hand to my body. They touch my arms first, followed by my stomach and then start moving up. Tears fall down my eyes unremittingly as his hand does not stop and crawls just below my breast. Pai, please Nodi, don't. Don't who hurt me. Peeply, please. I beg him with everything I have in my, but he doesn't stop. Instead, he stares at me and chuckles. A sadistic smile embraces his face as he shamelessly moves his hands up and grabs my breast in his palm. Shame washes over me and I want to die the very next moment. He doesn't stop and presses them harshly. Sobs continue to leave my lips but his actions do not stop. He moves from one breast to another and keeps pressing them, chuckling and grinning all while doing it. I guess I won't kill you because fuck this feels so good. He takes a deep breath in as if he is smelling some addiction. I don't know what comes in my mind but I think of trying for one last time for everything it's worth and with all my might, I kick him in his balls and push him away before picking up my phone from beside him and running out of the penthouse for my life. Sobs do not leave my lips for even a second as I continue running. I close the penthouse door behind me and put two big vases I see in the hallway in front of my door. Everything is blurred in front of me as I keep coursing through my path. I take the elevator and press the button to the basement immediately. Impulse is all that is left in my body for me to act on because I know if I stop, he is going to rip my soul apart and serve it to the devil. Even those devils are not as evil as these monsters trapped in the human body. My body is trembling as I cannot stop my cries. Suddenly, something strikes my mind and I pick up my phone before dialing his number cause for some reason I feel only he is going to help me out of this. I wait for him to pick up but he does not. When I finally lose hope as the call is about to be cut on the last ring, he finally picks up. I don't give him a moment to speak as my voice betrays me and I beg him. He will kill me. Please save me, Aksh. Before I can say any more, the call is disconnected and I look down to see my phone is already dead. I had thought to call Adrian after this but now I just can't. The elevator door opens up and I run to find some hiding spot in this big and dark basement. I see a booth-type corner and run towards it immediately but stop abruptly. That can be an easy spot and he will find me promptly. I run towards a corner far away and take a hideout behind some old cars which are here for God knows how long and that's not my priority at all right now. I crouch down and hold the phone to my heart before putting a hand over my mouth to control my unstoppable sobs. The hope that Aksh will come for me before the madman finds me out is still present in my heart and that is the only thing which is keeping me alive. It's been almost half an hour since I am hiding here and I can feel movements in the basement. He even screams at times and bangs some car's bonnet or something but I still don't make any noise. For now, he has not come near this area but it's not too late before he actually will. I slowly get up a little from my crouching position to peep out and see where he actually is to calm my racing heart a little. My eyes find him at the other side where he is looking behind some cars and raking his hand through his hair in frustration. With a heavy heart, I turn around to sit down when my hand hits something and it falls making a sound echo in the entire area. The gravest mistake I made in my entire lifetime. My palms start sweating again as the tears begin to fall down and sobs don't stay back in my throat anymore. Well, hello there, sweetheart, he shouts and I feel his steps coming closer to me. I try to get up and move away but now he is very close. There is no escape left. My savior did not come for me. It's my last day today and I am going to die the most brutal death. I cry my eyes out because I know nothing is going to save me now. This is my fate. He starts creeping closer to me with that sadistic smile and cruelty in his eyes which can make any soul tremble with utmost fear. I take 2 steps back before my back is pressed against the wall. He does not slow down in his steps and keeps coming closer and closer to me. Are you tired of running or do you want to test me some more? Because even if you do, you don't have an option left, sweetheart. I am going to fuck you raw on this rough ground right fucking now, he grits out and lunges forward towards me. I snap my eyes shut instantly, waiting for his impact to come but it never does. Instead, a loud banging noise is heard which makes me open my eyes and see his body fallen on the ground. He is not dead but blood is oozing out of his forehead. I move my gaze ahead of me and see the most comforting sight in front of my eyes. I run towards him and surrender myself in his arms before everything shuts off and I see black. I grasp her unconscious body in my arms, holding her close to my chest in the fear of losing her forever. Picking up her limp body in my arms, I immediately stride back outside this basement to my car but stop abruptly midway. Bring him to the dungeon. I will see him there. I look at Dennis and command him, to which he nods and moves towards the motherfucker who is responsible for Leah's condition. I struggle towards the car as fast as I can and open the door of the backseat and settle her unconscious body carefully on it before closing the door and marching towards the driver's seat. Settling myself in the seat, I strap the seat belt around myself and start driving, trying to reach the mansion as soon as I can. My heartbeat is racing due to the adrenaline infused in my blood after everything that has happened in the past half an hour. When I got the text from her and then the message in the envelope, it made my heart almost stop for a moment, thinking about all the wrong possibilities that could have happened. I rushed immediately to the building, and when I got here and reached the penthouse, I was left thunderstruck at the sight. Everything was messed up, the door was unlocked but no one was there, a pepper spray bottle was lying on the floor and a foreign cologne was spread in the air. I ran my palm over my face and raked my fingers in my hair, being scared to the core due to the plausibility of what would have happened to her and where she might be right now. Something suddenly struck me and I took out my phone to check her location. It was in this same building. Rushing to the location, I saw her shivering self and a tall man lunging towards him. My blood boiled at the sight and I stride towards them instantly. Are you tired of running or do you want to test me some more? Because even if you do, you don't have an option left, sweetheart. I am going to fuck you on this rough ground right fucking now. As soon as those words reached my ears, I picked up an iron rod kept on one side and smacked the fucker's head with it before he could have even laid a finger on her. He fell back on the ground as blood started pooling out of his head, but he didn't die. I made sure he didn't, because no way in hell is he going to die an easy death. My men filled the basement soon after. I moved my eyes to her as she stared at me with fear, hope and relief. Without wasting another moment, she rushed into my arms before passing out. My heart missed a beat when I held her unconscious body in my arms, but I maintained myself and took her out. My fingers curl around the steering harshly at the thought of everything, and I still don't know how I am going to react when the whole picture of this night will be known to me, because as much as I hate it, I know something has happened back in the penthouse. I have already asked my men to clear the entire city and make sure no vehicle is out on my way to the mansion, so it's not too dangerous for me to drive above the normal speed limit. But I still try my best to keep the speed where I am not able to hurt her in any way, and at the same time don't take too much time to reach the mansion. After driving for around 20 minutes, I finally make it to the mansion and park the car outside before getting out of my seat and opening the back door to pick her up. I hold her and walk inside the mansion with her in my arms in bridal style. I glance at her face every now and then, and my heart bangs when I see that unsettled and scared expression on them even when she is unconscious. Bring a bowl filled with cold water and a cotton cloth. I order one of my staff and walk towards my room before opening the door and making my way towards the bed. Gently lying her on the bed, I pull the comforter and tug her in it as I pull a chair near the bed and sit on it. Her agitated face turns from one side to another every now and then, as if she is fighting her nightmares, hiding the pain from the world. I forward my hand and take a hold of her palm in mine, pressing on them a little in reassurance and safety, though I doubt if she feels it. Her restlessness calms a little as her face relaxes too. My fingers brush against her hair, caressing them to comfort her however much they can. After about some time, one of the staff members enters the room and keeps a trolley beside me on which lies a bowl of chilled water, 2 cotton clothes, some cotton and antiseptics. I nod at the staff and he exits the room the very next moment. My eyes scan her entire body and I find scratch marks on her arms and a bruise on her neck and forearm. My eyes close in anger and hurt at the sight. Out of all the monsters on this damn planet, what did this angel do to deserve this? She is literally the purest soul I have ever seen in my entire lifetime, and seeing her in this condition is stabbing my heart with daggers. How am I going to face my best friend who trusted me with his sister's safety? How am I going to face my sister who will question me about my whereabouts when this inhumanity was happening? How will I look in my niece's eyes when she will look up to me with hope to protect her? I picked up a cotton cloth and wet it to wipe her arms and legs before applying the antiseptic on her wounds. Blowing air on the wounds, I apply the antiseptic with the help of some cotton to disinfect them. After that, I wet another cotton cloth and wiped her face and head, hoping for her to wake up and provide me some relief from this misery. The need to see her shining emerald green eyes again, staring at me with mischief, innocence and hope, is filled in my heart, and I am going to do everything in my power to make it happen. Even after wiping her face and head, she does not gain consciousness, and something inside of me doesn't settle well with the thought of any possibility of any bad happening to her. I hold her wrist and check her pulse, which is painfully slow. My eyes widen and I immediately fish out my phone to call the doctor. I thought it was just normal for her to pass out after an incident like that, but this reducing pulse and unconsciousness is not at all normal, and I am not going to take any risk with her. Nothing which can harm her. Please wake up, Angel. Don't scare me like this. I whisper softly to her, almost begging her to wake up and look at me. The back of my throat starts hurting when there is no response from her. The call rings twice before the doctor finally picks up. I need you at my mansion. Sir, now? It's almost midnight. I'll pay you whatever price you want, just come fast. Okay, sir. I'm coming. And make it fast. Please. I almost begged him because right now my only priority is Leah and I can't afford any delays. The call ends and I hold her palm between both my hands, kissing the back of it and placing it on my heart. Why did I ever leave you alone, Angel? You never deserved this. I am the one to be punished and tortured, not you. Whispers leave my mouth without even me realizing it, wanting to bring her back to consciousness, but it all goes in vain. She still lies on the bed with her eyes closed. I keep my hold on her hand firm and stay by her side, waiting for the doctor to come, who arrives after approximately 25 minutes. He enters the door and I immediately get up and sit next to her head, on the bed. What happened? He asks, making his way towards us and taking a seat on the chair. I look up at him and explain whatever I was aware of as he takes out his stethoscope and other medical stuff. Putting the diaphragm of the head on her chest, he hears her heartbeats and I pray at the back of my head for everything to be stable and fine. He takes out a small torch and opens her eyes with his fingers before flashing the light from the torch in one eye followed by the other. After that he checks her pulse. Once he is done with some physical checkups, he takes out a syringe and a drug as he used the syringe to suck the drug in it and injected it to her body, slowly. Throwing the drug bottle and syringe in the dustbin beside the bed, he puts back all the other equipment in his bag and gets up from the chair. It's nothing serious, Mr. Richand. She was panicked for a long time before getting unconscious, and there can be some other factors too which has scared her to the core, exhausting her. I have given her an injection which will help her sleep calmly all night. She will be conscious again in the morning, he explains, and I nod my head at him, my eyes still fixated on my Leah. I'll take my leave now. He says. Thank you for this, doctor. The staff will help you out. He smiles at me and leaves the room. The door shuts behind him and I take my seat back on the chair, in front of her. She looks a bit calm as her breathing returns back to normal. Her face has become pale and I notice clear tear marks on her skin. Dark circles are prominent under her swollen eyes, clearly marking the fact that she cried her eyes out during whatever happened and probably before it too. The realization that I was the reason behind her tears before tonight makes me feel disgusted in myself. I was never supposed to hurt her, be the man to make her cry, and yet, here I am, being exactly what I feared. Maybe staying away to protect her from my evils and this world was the worst decision of my life. Once she wakes up, I will have to quit scaring her away. Even if I cannot reciprocate her feelings for innumerous reasons, I can still be civil with her. She does not deserve to be treated like some doormat, and after what happened today, I am not going to take any risk of hurting her. I'll call Adrian and send her back to live with him. That will be the best option to keep her safe and sound, away from this world while I deal with whatever fuckery that has happened today. Suddenly, her breathing enrages and she shakes her head rapidly from one side to another as tear droplets leave the corner of her eyes. I straighten up immediately and hold her hands tightly before trying to lift her body in my arms. No, please don't come close to me, she cries, tears pooling out of her eyes. Don't touch me, please, I beg you. No. Don't, she screams and opens her eyes as I engulf her in my arms. Her arms and legs wrap around my body unknowingly. It's okay, Leah. I am here now. Nothing will happen to you, I coo her while caressing her hair and back gently. Save me from him, please Aksh. Her trembling voice pains me and the back of my throat starts throbbing, not able to hold the ache anymore. I rub her back a little rapidly. None will harm you anymore, baby. Relax, please. I am here whispering those sweet nothings in her ears. I hope for her to believe me. Eventually her breathing gets back to normal as she falls back unconscious. I help her lie down and settle beside her, running my fingers gently through her hair, trying to keep her calm. Lord knows what the bastard has done with her to have left such a scary scar on her. Her innocence is tainted by his evil intentions, and if, God forbid, she does not stay as she was before, I don't know myself what havoc I am going to wreak for this world. The motherfucker is going to die the most painful death, and that's for sure. My emotions are all over the place right now. In the time span of 34 years of my existence, I have never been this restless and anticipated. I have never felt emotions this strong for anything or anyone before this. The pain of the wound I received 5 years back wasn't so painful as this is. Her tears are like daggers which are directly hitting my soul, skinning it layer by layer, making it more agonizing than normal. She out of all people wasn't supposed to be the prey of something this heartbreaking. Some moments pass when all of a sudden again her breathing fastens and she starts throwing her hands and legs all over the place restlessly. I bring her body and settle it on my lap, holding her closer to my chest with her both legs on either side of me as she starts sobbing with restless breathing. My heartbeats increase at her condition, but I try to keep myself calm because if I break down, who will handle us? Aksh, please come fast. He will kill me, she sobs in my chest and I close my eyes shut in pain, rubbing her back gently. My voice is somewhere lost in the throbbing of my throat, but still I somehow force it out. I am here for you now, Angel. Her breathing paces all of a sudden and I pull her face a little away from my heart and hold it in my palms. Breathe, Angel. I want you to breathe for me, baby. Please, my voice, begging at this point, begging her to breathe because if she won't, my lungs will stop too. Sobs don't stop coming out of her throat, but now finally her eyes open. Those emerald green orbs, filled with tears, glance at me in pain, severe pain. I can't, she whispers through the veils, hold me in your arms, Aksh. I need you, her begging whispers immediately make me obey as I engulf her back in my arms. I need you to breathe. Don't leave me. I keep rubbing her back in hope to calm her breathing down a little as she continues, help me out of this, please. Kiss me, her painful voice, pleading and filled with desperation, comes out in a barely audible whisper. Without wasting another moment, I gently hold her face in my palm and press my lips on hers. She reciprocates almost immediately but gently. I keep my actions in control and don't stop caressing her hair and back with one of my hands as we continue to kiss. Salty tears make their presence known on the tip of my lips and I lick them clean. Breaking the kiss, I move my lips along her cheeks, licking every single drop of her tears before pressing my lips back on hers. Eventually, I feel her hands in my hair as she deepens the kiss in desperation for some sort of assurance. I don't stop her and let her do whatever she pleases because right now she needs it. Anything that can help her will be at her feet instantly, doesn't matter what I have to do for it. Soon as she runs out of air, our lips detach and I rest our foreheads on one another. Her painful cries finally stop, but the tears don't. He threatened me, Aksh. He touched me with his disgusting hands. Scarred me, she whispers slowly and I can feel the pain in her voice. It's okay, baby. It's okay if you don't want to explain yourself. I don't need any explanation from you anyways. No. Let me. He touched me here. She takes my palm and keeps them on her breasts. I close my eyes, feeling the painful scar it would have left on her soul. Unknowingly, a drop of tear streams down from the corner of my eyes too. I did not like it. It was disgusting. It was scary, but he didn't stop. She sobs and more tears leave my eyes. She didn't deserve it. No one does. Her cries have died down, but a few sobs leave her mouth once or twice as she explains. He even hit me, Aksh. Here, she moves my hand to her abdomen and fury replaces the pain in my veins instantly. I will make the motherfucker experience hell, all while having enough air in his lungs to make him feel all the torment. I am sorry, baby. I am sorry to have left you alone, I say, my voice barely a whisper. I knew no one was going to save me from him, but still there was a hope that you would come for me. Rest, baby, you need it. He had vile intentions towards me. The look on his face is still terrifying me, Aksh. Her pained expressions are a jab at my soul, and those confessions are just boiling my blood. Without another word, I pull her towards me further and run my fingers in her hair. Don't leave me, please, Aksh. That was the last thing I heard before she fell unconscious again. I don't leave her though. This time, I lie beside her and keep my arms wrapped around her. Once I am sure her breathing has rationalized and she has fallen asleep, I get up a little to drink a glass of water. The ache in my heart and the back of my throat is too much for me to bear. In the past 5 years, I have stopped feeling any emotions, but today controlling the pain and my tears didn't look like an easy job. Maybe I don't want to control them because I know she is going through much more than this. My ache, my tears, my fury is nothing in front of what she is going through. A simple touch can leave a person traumatized for ages, and this was a complete act of inhumanity towards her. God knows how she is going to keep herself together. Because if she can't, I am here to hold her pieces and fix them back. Yes, it will leave a scar, but I will make sure to decorate it so it only looks prettier if anything. I am scared to answer my best friend, my sister, my niece and Leah's parents when they will ask me about my incompetence because I wasn't able to protect a person who they have loved with all their soul. A person who has loved everyone with everything she had. Sleep is not going to come near me the whole night, and I am grateful for it because I have to be here by her side if she wakes up again at night because of her nightmares or panic attacks. I glance at the clock on the wall once and see it's already 3:51 in the morning. A few hours before I torture the bloody motherfucking bastard to the point where he is forced to beg for death, but death does not come to him. My slumber is broken when I feel rays of sunlight hitting my eyes harshly through the sheer curtains. Forcefully, I open my eyes and they instantly fall on the most serene yet painful face in front of me. Leah cuddles with me and sleeps in my arms, but her face is still distressed, clearly indicating how much she is suffering because of her demons and battling with them for some peace. I slowly push back a few strands of her hair behind her ears and stare at her intently, trying to read her, wanting to take away every ounce of pain from her soul and mix it with the darkness of my soul, giving her all the light of the world. With a heavy heart, I get up from the bed, not before pressing a soft kiss on her cheek. I walk towards the curtains and close the dark ones too so that her sleep doesn't get disturbed due to the light. The whole night she was struggling to sleep, her nightmares taking control every now and then, scaring her already frightened soul and not letting any sense of peace be there for her. I stayed awake too, for her, beside her, holding her securely in my arms, frightened that if I lost my grip around her even slightly, she would fall down and shred into pieces like glass. Taking one last glance at her, I walk out of the room in a pair of grey trousers and white t-shirt and fish out my phone to call Mikhail, Lana and Luca. Today, I also have to take care of the fucking bastard in the dungeon, who dared to scar the soul of an angel. I am going to make him beg for help, but will make sure that he doesn't get that too. He will suffer right here, on this planet, until his last breath, just like the poor souls who suffer on the hands of these scumbags. The innocent girls who become victims to their sick hormones, who drink up the pain and humiliation and the scar which has been imprinted on their heart and soul and still continue to live with a strong smile on their lips, hiding their pains from the eyes of this world. They deserve nothing less than the entire world. I walk towards the kitchen and see my cook and some helpers there. All males. Alex, you can go home for today, and the rest of you too. I'll see from here. I say, my tone monotonous as I step inside the kitchen. They look at me with shock and fear on their faces, which is understandable since I have not allowed them a day's break in the years they have been working for me in the mansion. Though, when I shifted to the penthouse, they all went home, with paid salaries, of course. Sir, did we do something wrong? One of them struggles to ask and I stop in my tracks before moving my eyes towards the person. Studying his features carefully, I instantly notice that he is frightened. He didn't intend to question me, seeing it wasn't his position to do so, but since no one spoke, he volunteered. I bear holes through him in anger and frustration as I notice him fidgeting with his fingers, a habit I absolutely loathe. You want to enjoy your leave for a day or you want to enjoy a leave from this job forever? The question makes him step back a few steps and lower his head immediately. Now get out everyone, my voice has an edge to it this time and all of them immediately follow the command. Once the kitchen is cleared, I move inside and decide to cook a simple omelette with bread and some salad for her. It doesn't take me much time to finish with breakfast and I quickly arrange a tray with the omelette and bread and salad, along with a glass of orange juice. Taking it to my room, I open the door and my gaze falls on an awake Leah who is leaning her back against the headboard with the legs folded and pressed against her chest while her hands wrapping around them. As soon as she senses my presence, her gaze immediately lifts hurriedly, a little fear in her eyes at the thought of some intruder maybe, and she stares at me. Oh! It's you, her voice barely whispers, reaches my ears and the ache inside of me evokes again. She thought I was an intruder, wanting to hurt her. The thought of it doesn't settle well with me but I don't say anything. Instead, with the tray in my hands, I walk towards her and settle down on the edge of the bed, trying to maintain some distance from her so that I don't threaten her away. Here, eat something, I say, forwarding the tray towards her. Her eyes move to the tray, examining the dishes, before moving back to mine. Feed me, she whispers, the voice makes me feel the back of her throat hurts in pain and fear. I don't say anything but instead, pick up a fork and knife before cutting into the omelette and forwarding it towards her. She slowly takes a bite and chews on it silently. The glint of her eyes was long gone, replaced by a sad and faded darkness. It felt like the emerald shine of the greens were replaced by the dark scary aura of the dense forests. How do you feel? The question leaves my mouth, desperate to get an answer from her but she simply nods her head slowly. I don't push it more or nudge her because no one knows what switch it can take off. Cutting another bite of the omelette, I forward it towards her. It doesn't take long to finish the breakfast and I am glad that at least she ate everything and didn't starve herself. Here. I give her the glass of orange juice but she denies and turns her face away. Leah, drink it. It won't taste bad. Nudging a little, I push the glass forward but she denies again. With a sigh, I keep the glass in the tray and put it on the lamp desk beside the bed. My eyes settle back on her and observe her features slowly. Tear-stricken face, pale skin, puffy eyes, messed hair and swollen lips, even after being in a miserable state from inside, she looks like the prettiest thing to me. I am scared to even move my hands forward and touch her because I feel if I do, I will leave a dark patch on her beautiful soul. What happened to the little girl? Lana's panicked voice reaches our ears and both of us turn to see her rushing inside the room. Mikhail follows behind her, trying to catch up with his wife, who is in a mood to run a marathon right now it seems. She strides towards us, particularly Leah, and scans her closely before sitting beside her and holding her face in her hands. Oh my lord! How are you doing, my love? She asks her, her voice soft, the softest I have ever heard ever since I have known her. Leah's eyes cloud with tears which threaten to fall down any moment now. Her arms wrap around Lana who reciprocates the gestures immediately and starts rubbing her back slowly. Can you two excuse us for some time? Both Mikhail and I nod at her and leave the room. I take a last glance at Leah whose body is shaking as her soft sobs fill the room. With a heavy heart, I close the door and pinch the bridge of my nose to calm myself down. When are we leaving for the dungeon? Mikhail asks, grabbing my attention to himself. I walk towards the railing and lean on it. I have to settle something and then we will leave. I hope no one has touched him yet. My thoughts shift towards the state I found Amelia in and what could have happened had I not been there. He will die the most painful death. No. They have just thrown him inside one of the cells and have left him like that. He has been shouting, throwing useless punches here and there and screaming to get him out. Deal with him before someone's patience is snapped because of him. Mikhail states and I simply nod at him. Did you find Adnan's location? Yes. He was last seen in Hawaii and I am assuming that he has taken shelter there only. His son took over his organization and is leading it forward now. According to the intel, his son is 10 times more inhuman and cruel than him if possible. He also murdered 3 of our men in cold blood yesterday night. So he and his father basically wanted to initiate a war with us. What did you say his name was? Dmitry Stankovic. Well, then little Dmitry is going to be given a proper return gift soon. Mikhail nods as I plan what to do with this father-son duo. Leaving them with empty threats ain't going to help us anymore. They need to be shown what hell actually looks like. The door of my room slowly opens and my attention immediately rushes towards it. I pull myself from the railing and walk towards the room. Lana stands there, looking at me with sad eyes. She squeezes my shoulders a little in reassurance. Take care of that girl. She needs it. Her words do nothing but increase my restlessness. I nod at her, walk inside the room as the two follow behind me silently. Leah wipes her tears and stares back at me with vulnerability, the type which stabs me in my soul with just a look. I hold myself together and walk towards her, taking a seat near her on the bed. I am so sorry for letting this happen to you, Leah. I say, my voice a decibel above a whisper. She shakes her head and whispers, it wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself. I don't miss the sob which leaves her mouth after those words. You are really strong, Amelia, Mikhail says and steps closer to her. He forwards his hand to keep on her shoulder in reassurance, but she immediately flinches. Her eyes wide and horrified as she looks at him, her breathing enraged as I notice her trembling body. In reflex I pull her body in my arms and her shoulders relax slowly, but the fear in her eyes stays. Mikhail steps back and doesn't say anything, trying his best not to scare her even a bit. It's okay, Leah. He won't hurt you. I rub her back and caress her hair to calm her down. Eventually she gives in and relaxes in my arms. She sits back straight and faces Mikhail, trying her best to put up a smile but fails miserably. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to react like that. Her barely audible voice comes out, her head hanging low. Don't worry, princess. I understand. And I am sorry to have scared you, he softly speaks, this time not wanting to fear her. I will call Adrian to take you with himself because it's not safe for you to stay alone, I announce, and her head snaps in my direction in horror. It takes me minutes of trying to figure out her reaction, but I still can't. I didn't say something so shocking considering what she went through last night. Please don't. Don't call him. Don't tell him I know of this. I beg you. Please, don't, her helpless pleas echo in the room as she joins her hands together and crosses her fingers. I raise my eyebrows at her in surprise. But why not? He deserves to know, and it will be for your own good to stay with him, I reason with her, but her tears start falling down her eyelids. Please. Aksh, don't. He will cage me back in his mansion or our parents' one. Especially if he gets to know about this. Please, don't tell him. I beg you. Your life is in danger. How can I not? Then protect me. I know you are more than capable of doing that, but please don't send me back. I don't want to be trapped. I move my gaze from her to Lana, who is staring back at Leah with surprise and pity. As if noticing my gaze at her, she turns her eyes to me. It doesn't take her forever to sense my dilemma and she nods at me in response. Please, Aksh. I can't bear to be locked in a house after going through everything that happened last night. Her trembling voice made me lose my guard and I sigh in defeat. Fine. I won't inform your brother about this but on one condition. I agree, she interrupts before I can even finish my sentence, as if she is willing to do everything in return to keep this a secret. At least listen to what I have to put forth, anything will work for me. No demands from my side, you will stay in this mansion. With me. Leah is taken aback by my words along with the other two intruders who are right now hovering over us and watching the scene unfold in front of themselves quietly. For a moment she does not say a thing, and even if she tries to negotiate now or deny this condition, I am not going to let that happen because there is no way I am letting her safety be hampered. Staying here for now will be her best option since she is hell-bent about not going to her brother's or parents' place. Or is there no other option? She asks, her words irking me a little for some unknown reasons. Why does she not want to stay with him? Does she not like me anymore? Has she started hating me now? No. I say and get up from the bed before marching towards the door, leaving no room for discussion. Anger rushes in my arteries and spreads across my body within seconds because of the thought of her hating me. Hating me to an extent where she doesn't even want to stay in the same place as me. I exit the room with my fingers curled in a fist, wanting to hit something so hard that it breaks. I control my animal instincts and march downstairs. Akaksh, stop. We are coming with you, Lana yells from behind me, but my steps don't come to halt. I pick up the key to my car and keep straddling. You heard my wife, stop. I hear Mikhail speak, but I don't give two fucks about him either, and when I am finally outside my mansion, I open the door of my car and am about to sit when he grabs my shirt and pulls me backwards. We are coming with you and I will be driving. If you die in an accident, your girl will have to mourn you when she should be happy about her revenge, he states, and I take a deep breath in. Without saying anything, I open the door to the back seat and settle down because he is right. If I drive in anger, that too in broad daylight, I am going to crash the car, killing myself and some civilians too. I close the door and lean my head against the back seat. The anger from the thought of her hating me, mixed with what that bastard did to her innocent soul, has consumed me to the point where my mind has stopped thinking anything. Her confession from last night still spasms me in the deepest part of my heart, which I have hidden from the world, more like I have killed so no one can do that again. And yet, she happens to ignite that part again and again, that too, so effortlessly. The car finally comes to a halt after a drive of about 45 minutes and all three of us get down from it. I make my way inside the dungeon, followed by Mikhail and Lana, where 38 criminals are trapped as of now, but today, my eyes are set on only one, before I deal with the others involved in this too. We walk towards his cell and one of my guards opens the door to it and the three of us enter inside. As if sensing our presence near himself, he raises his eyes up towards us. The sadistic smile widening on his lips as gets on his feet and stands straight. The lover boy is finally here. He says and starts walking near us. Without any questions asked, I pick up the iron rod from beside myself and smack his head with it, making him fall down on the ground as a painful cry leaves his mouth. His eyes hold anger and loathe when they stare back at mine. My hand goes to pick up a knife from the table, which is just beside me. I bring the knife closer to myself and evaluate it calmly. The edge was perfectly sharpened and the knife has my initials, ER, engraved on it. You can't do shit to me, and even if you do and kill me, remember he will come after you. More men will be sent, more torture will fall upon your family and loved ones until no one else is left with you and you are forced to join them, his words laced with venom as he spits on my shoes. I move a step behind and glare at him. Before he can speak another word, my fingers curl over his mouth to force his tongue out. The sharp edge of the knife slither over his tongue and cut the flesh out of his mouth, making it fall in front of my feet as I slap him hard, turning his head towards the other side. Blood keeps dripping from his mouth as he keeps struggling to speak while moving his body vigorously in pain. You do not, as much as, even speak until I ask you to. I hope this will help you all remember, I warn, taking my time with each word. Pulling a chair close, I sit on it and stare at his painful state, struggling to hold the pain but failing miserably. He is going to die the most painful death ever witnessed by anyone, and I am going to make sure of it. You wanted to harm her. You wanted to toy with her. Hurt her. Take her away from me. I stayed, making myself aware again of what this bastard was there for so that I don't take it easy on him in any way. You wanted to take away what was mine and you thought you would be alive after that. He doesn't say anything because he clearly can't. His muffled cries echo in the room as I test my words on my lips, words which uncage the monster inside of me. Ask Dan to uncover the lid from the lava container, I say to Lana, who nods and leaves from there without a word. The bastard, whose name, if I am not wrong, happens to be Carter, widens his eyes as he looks at me in horror. You didn't think I was going to give you an easy death, did you? I tsk and hold him by his shoulders before throwing mindless punches at him, which infuriates me more than before. It's done, Lana informs, and I drag the fucker behind me as I walk towards the lava container. Take the sword, Mikhail. Saying that, I continue walking and reach the place in minutes. I look down to see the lava boiling inside as I make him stand in front of it, his back touching the metal, burning from the intensity as his cries echo in the entire dungeon. Mikhail comes back with the sword and without exchanging any words, I cut the fucker's arms first, with which he dared to touch my Leah, as they fall inside the container. Loud screams and cries fill around us, but none of my men flinches. His eyes beg me to kill him and give him an easy death, but I don't. With the help of a plucker I take his dirty eyes, with which he gazed at her lustfully, and throw them in the container after his arms. Even after this, I won't let him die. I dragged him by myself and put him in my car before ordering Mikhail. Take the other in the truck and follow me. We soon reach a building, the one which is owned by Adnan and his son, and I take him with me inside it. Eventually, Mikhail and Lana come with the other two and I order to start skinning the bastards alive. Once we have tortured them to the point where they would die any moment, I leave the building and put it on fire. He deserves it. Anyone who dares to lay a finger on the innocent deserves this, and I am going to make sure of it.